Hello, good morning and welcome back to the Fish Locker out on the boat. I am out today with my friend Dave aboard his boat, the Solent Warrior, and we are fishing out of the Solent. It's going to be a bit of a mixed day today, adapting to what's going on. We are currently looking for birds. Birds to find the bait and the bass. That is whilst we have wind against tide. Then in a couple of hours time, when the tide changes, we're going to go and do something else. I will explain everything as we do it. Just wish us luck. Let's go. Just top in here in front of us. Knock her off, take her around to starboard. I've explained this multiple times before. It's about acknowledging the signs around you to find the fish, using a bit of watercraft. And what we're looking for, like I said, at this moment in time, is birds. We have an awful lot of seagulls working down there. Now I don't know how they do it, but they can find bait fish faster than I can. So what we're going to do really quickly is we're just going to find a couple of soft plastics, maybe some spinners. Cast about. We are in the best part of this fish at the bottom now. Yeah. Sorry mate, after you. Battle stations. Yeah, we've got fish below us now, so yeah, found them straight away. The birds are working in conjunction with the fish. The bass and the mackerel below force the sand eels up towards the surface. And the birds are taken from above. Sorry, there's an hovercraft and a ferry and all sorts. It's a busy piece of water. Some of the day is going to be spent drifting, like now. Some of the days is going to be spent at anchor, and the rest of it we're just going to have to kind of adapt to what's going on. There's no point, absolutely no point, putting the anchor down now when we've got wind against tide, just because you will end up swinging round like a spinning top. Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, this is small, whatever this is. If I've still even got it. Oh my word. I didn't think bass even came that small. That is absolutely minute. Oh, yours is on it. Yours is bigger, but not much. These are the new Fish Locker Skerries Pro. Get off. I don't want to touch it because you spike it. These are the Skerries Pro lures that I'm making in conjunction with Sidewinder. Some bigger fish down there on the bottom again. Legal landing size for bass is 42 centimetres. Those fish there in probably 2 or 3 years time will be there. But in amongst the small ones there might be a big one as well. This is a 40 gram Conflict Elite. This is actually an authority. This is a heavy reel. You don't need an authority for doing this, but I'm also going to be using this for the fishing that we're doing later. For this, generally you'd get away with like a 2,000 or a 3,000 size reel, 20 to 30 pound braid. Now the bait fish, these little sand eels that they're feeding, I'm imagining it's going to be these minute little sand eels because that's where they're everywhere. They're constantly trying to evade. Everything is eating. Anything down there that eats fish will be eating these. So they're doing their best to try and evade everything. So they're moving. We've got to be mobile to stay with them. And the best way to be able to spot where the fish are is by following where the birds are. It looks to me like the shoal has moved over that way.
Yeah, I think it'd probably be a bad idea sticking a set of mackerel feathers down into hatch and hatch.
Yeah. Adapting what you're doing and what you're using to what's working. I could tell we're getting all them little wraps on that lure, but they were just snapping the tail of it. So I put a little spinner on to drop down through them. So with a hook in the tail, and straight away then. They are getting even smaller. We keep on being this size, we're going to have to move and find a different shoal of them, because these are just hanging. This shoal seems to be full of this size fish as well. just too small. And when you go ashore of them like this, even if there is a big one at the bottom of it, you'll never find it because these ones are just too quick on them. And it's managed to stick the hook in my jumper. Let's move. Currently just enjoying some of that sunshine that the weatherman promised us. Yeah, these conditions here, this is also why we didn't put the anchor down straight away. When you've got wind against tide, it's always a little bit more confused and a little bit sloppier. Fingers crossed though, as soon as the tide turns in the other direction, we'll have wind and tide together. It should flatten out. That weatherman got it wrong. Yeah, there's a lot of birds here. There they are, look. They're a bit deeper. They are getting slightly bigger. Again, it was just following the signs. We're just steaming around looking for the birds. Still below minimum, but they are getting bigger. Oh, hello. Oh, yes. We'll have you. Much better than a bass. It's not even getting that big down.
This could be the kiss of death doing this, but let's give it a go. Don't have a bass.
It's a fantastic sign for the stocks for the future, but it's not what we're after. Hopefully that mackerel that I've caught, I'll have a tope on it. Oh, now it's getting the poop. Yes! I'm glad I went to all the trouble of catching all them, getting all them fresh Cornish mackerel for you now.
Great sign. Then our first mackerel this season. Down this way. We generally get a mackerel a lot later than John.
There's got to be a thresher shark in amongst all this.
There probably will be. There's got to be. Right.
This is the worst size of bass to try and unhook because they're just like, and they're covered in spikes.
They're nice big mackerel, aren't they?
I don't know if you can see all the birds working. They're all kind of over there in the distance. That was it, that was all we found. We just found a patch of birds working. Oh. Oh. I think I'm going to put the spinner away and put a bigger soft plastic on.
Start the engine.
In there, it's target.
Yeah, pretty much. Just bumping it along the bottom. There we go. Just.
There's the fish and the sound out.
Oh yeah. Just to give you some context on size. So that is.
I would have good like 40.
That is bang on 42. But still, if you're going to keep a fish for your dinner, around a 50 mark is the ideal size.
Too small. Fillets are tiny and thin as well.
Yeah, I mean, I quite often keep the odd 42, purely because my missus don't eat fish. So sometimes, a big fish is, I'm eating it for 3 days.
I'm different. Like if it's a 60cm fish is what I consider to be perfect because I've got 3 or 4 mouths to feed with it.
Yeah.
Really quickly try and show you what the sound is showing. All of these squiggles here that you're seeing on the screen, this is the seabed. This is the surface. All of these squiggles are the bass and the mackerel. Using the larger lure, I'm missing loads of bites from it. Twisting it wrong, the little tiny one striking at the tail of it. If your lure comes up and it's twisted over like this, it's because a smaller fish has come up and struck at the tail of it. Come up and like hit it. And when they hit it on the side, the lure wraps around on itself like that. We've had a bit of fun here with these smaller bass. The tide's starting to drop off now. I don't know if you noticed, it's starting to get a little bit calmer. We're going to make our way to the different mark. Dave and I have got to a different mark. We are going to be fishing here hopefully for most of the day. We've been waiting for tide and wind in the same direction. We are a lot flatter, a lot calmer than we were earlier because we now have them both going in the same direction. We are fishing over an area of reef and scour, that is bits of reef that go up and down and the bits that are scoured out behind them. And we're going to be fishing for things like bream, tope, bass. I imagine there's going to be a bycatch of dogfish, might catch a ray when we put the anchor down, but yeah, at this moment in time, because the tide has just started to slow down, we might be able to get away with drifting. I'm going to put a bream rig on, which is just a 2-hook scratching rig with, I'm trying to get all my pre-made stuff on my box. I have some taupe traces and hidden away in here somewhere. There we go. Bream rigs are just short hook lengths of about 6 to 8 inches, a size 2 chino hook with a little bit of glowing flashy bead, and I'm going to put a bit of squid on there. Here we are. I have baited myself up with just some little tiny scraps of squid, and I'm using a 5-ounce lead. I'm dropping this down on the spinning gear so far just to be able to test it out. This first drift will generally set the tone for how the rest of the day is going to go. Because if we've got enough tide to be able to drift, not too much, just the right amount, you want to be moving through slowly. If you're going through too fast, you just snag on the bottom or you can't stay in contact with it. And if there's no drift at all, again, that's another bad thing. You have gone straight down with the mackerel bait. I
have, yeah. I've gone big, the mackerel that we caught earlier.
I might actually, while that's waiting, I'll show you my taupe rigs. Now, last time we were here, I went straight down with a mono trace. Depending on your personal preference, some people use like 200, 300 pound mono, other people use wire. Now, I've fished in places before where taupe will be a little bit wire shy. So you need I'd say that rod tip going away behind me. Taupe can be a little tiny bit wire shy, so you have to use mono. If you hook them in the right place with a circle hook, mono can be fine, but also at the same time, if you've got a larger fish on and it rolls up and the line gets in the teeth, they can bite you off. When we fished here last time, they weren't put off by wire, so I'm going to go straight on with a wire trace. If they start being finicky throughout the day, I might have to go back to mono.
Well, I've opted for mono now. I've got a £200 mono on, purely just because you haven't got a great deal of tide running through here at the moment. And always found on a slack tide, they'll be a bit more picky.
You can, I like to make all my own traces. It's just, I feel like it's an extra little bit of a pat on the back when you catch something. Yeah, these are ending in these are an 8-0 Cox and Roll Mutsu circle, and I have about a foot to a foot and a half wire, then the rest of my trace. It effectively is like a bolt rig. You've got a locked in lead inside of a set. The whole trace when it's stretched out is about 4 or 5 foot. Connect your lead into there and your bait onto there, and then just connect this onto the end of your leader. We're at a time of year where bream, fascinating black bream, they nest up. The males find an area, a patch of seabed, and they clean it up and make like a big ball, like a nest. And they have the brightest blue colours, bright blue and silver when they come up. We're catching it today. I'll show you. Yeah, they are. Bream are delicious. Catch one of a nice size, we'll keep it.
You're on, mate. You're on.
The hands are all dirty, I didn't want to.
You good?
Not bad size Bream, that. It's scrappy now because he's didn't take the hook right. Yeah. There's your black Bream. Now, I am going to keep a couple of these back today because Jim Spargo, my father-in-law, does really like eating Bream.
They are
That's
spongy.
going to leave a mark. That's going to leave a mark. Yeah, saying that actually, yeah. If I was a Bream, I'd probably do the same thing because your day is going to get a damn sight worse for me. Right in the crease of my finger. Where are we?
Yeah, good. Just
Gently jogging away.
it's. I think there's a rope down there. Do you know that rope that we
Yeah.
pulled out? I think there's more of that. Oh,
You got it?
it's coming up, whatever it is. This will be interesting.
Should we get monkfishes? I don't know if you noticed what happened there. As I was bringing up that Bream, Dave got snagged onto something at the bottom as we were drifting away from it. So all we've done is just jog the boat up tide. Because sometimes if this is a boulder or something and you snag in going that way, if you try and pull it out that way, it just pulls it tighter in. Or if you pull it back out the way that it went in, sometimes you can get it out. This time we're suspecting this is going to be some trash that was on the seabed. Big rockers. Well, yeah, there you go. That rock there has maybe never seen a light of day.
I bet if you look at that long enough, you'll find all sorts of
Yeah,
species.
well,
on there.
there I can see a couple of types of worms. There's a type of coral there. Yeah. This is called somewhat like Merlin's beard as well. Catch and release this one.
Yeah, I want that one to go back.
Go around for another drift. That first drift, we figured out which way we're going to go now. Go up and round and drift over it again. Just a little patch of reef. We'll drift through it a few times while the tide, when the tide moves between high tide and low tide, it doesn't move at the same speed. It's slower to start with and then faster and then slower again. That's what that Bream got me. While the tide is still just building, we can get away with drifting. Through the middle of the tide, that drift's going to be too fast. So that's when I'm going to put the anchor down. Go back on my Bream rig. And we believe, we talked about this last time, didn't we? These Bream coming in and breeding, we think that's what the Tope are coming in here for.
Yes.
Coming in here feeding on the Bream.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, the mackerel, it's the first day we've had mackerel on the boat this season. So, for us to be catching them all the other day, with the amount we were catching as well, then they're not sitting there on shoals and mackerel. I always find that they tend to sit inshore for the first bit of the season.
Yeah.
They'll feed up on the Bream. When the mackerel shoals come, the Tope will start scatting about across all the other marks, following them around.
Well, given an option of chasing a mackerel that's quite agile and quite fast and free swimming, or targeting a Bream that's sitting on a nest, I think if I was a Tope, I'd be targeting a Bream. But this is your Tope rig. Mackerel flapper, a circle, some wire, and there's your sliding lead. Just connect this to the end of my leader. The tackle I'm using today, this is a Penn Squall Viking edition. This is a 20 to 30. Actually, I got this for Norway. I found it brilliant for shadding. And considering the sharks that we're going to be catching today are hopefully going to be between 20 and 60 pound, I think this will be perfect. And a Findor Marquess 16. I've got 50 pound mainline braid and an 80 pound mono leader. and I end all my leaders in like a strong swivel, so that all of my traces, all of my rigs, if I end them in a barrel, I can just clip one on and clip one off when I want to change it. One of the things about tope fishing, the same as shark fishing, is being organised. We've cleared everything out of the deck underneath us. I've got a T-bar, I've got my gloves. I'm just going to get my tags out now and the tape measure, because any of these fish that we hook into, they could be massive. And you don't want to get all fouled up with everything else that you're doing. You need everything that you will possibly need right at hand, and everything else put out of the way. Yeah, they are a lovely looking fish. This one is a little bit small, so I'm going to drop this one back. Interesting as a species, a bit like wrasse, is that they can be hermaphroditic. If something happens to a male in an area, if you have an overpopulation of females, some of the females can turn into a male. So generally, if you're catching them really big, bright blue males, you're better off putting some of them back. And Bream are pecking the big baits, the mackerel flappers that we're putting down. See the Bream ragging on them. It's not a bad thing, because them tearing at the bigger baits creates a bigger scent trail. Usually I would associate catching tope with having a bit of a tide run. But yeah, the last time that we were here we caught them bang on slack water, and then throughout the tide, so it just goes to show that just when you think you've got something figured out, something happens and it throws it all in place. We've had a couple of drifts now. I know which way the tide's going, so I think what we are going to do is we're going to go and put the hook down. We'll talk you through it slow time, but basically we've got all these reefs and all these little scours, and we're going to try and put the hook down in some shallower water so it sits us back fishing into one of these scours, into these deeper areas. If we get it right first time, brilliant. If not, yeah, it happens. But we're in anything from 90 feet up to like 25 foot. So I'm expecting we're going to have to put out probably 150, 160 feet of rope in total, because the angle that you're at, you don't want it to be too steep, because the tide pulling on it creates a belly in your anchor rope and it trips it out. You want like a nice shallow angle. So putting out 2.5 times the depth in rope, I think probably will work here. Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
We'll wait for the boat to lay around now, and once we're sat back stable, we'll get the baits off the back. Yeah. Trying to build a bit of a scent trail now to bring fish towards us. Rather than drifting through to find them, we're going to try and draw them to us with some scent, because we've got plenty of fresh bait. The first spot that we tried, we fished it for about 3/4 of an hour and didn't have a bite. Also, the tide was very strong. We've come and re-anchored somewhere else. Sat back quite nicely now. I've managed to get a couple of baits out now. I put a slightly lighter lead, I think it's £1, but I've had to trot it back maybe 80 metres behind the boat. I'm going to knock up a second rig and I'm going to put a heavier lead on, put it closer to the boat. So the little lead, all you do is you just trot it further and further and further back. If you have two similar weight leads on next to each other, you've got a chance of getting tangled up. Got it.
That's a big fish, mate.
Found it then.
Yeah. Turn that clicker off. I knew you were the man for cutting up the bacon.
Right, you did say it.
I said it.
Dave, like a seagull, saw me cutting up a fresh mackerel and he was like, "Oh, you've done that really well, John. Yeah, oh yeah, you look definitely the best man for cutting up the bait." I'm like, "Which piece do you want?" And obviously he picked the piece that I was going to use, and it's caught fish. Fingers crossed though, where there's one there will be more. Just off the bottom, I can see you're at 70 foot.
I'm over. Let you know what the fish is doing. Pick up, girl. got it. Move paid off.
It might not be so little.
It's up now.
Oh, it's tugging away like a bull.
She's a tope.
Nice one too. Nice fish, that. You're on the mono still, are you?
Mono leader.
Got it?
Yeah.
Scrappy male.
Oh, it's male. Big male.
There you go. So, yeah, first tope. I'll give you about £20.
Yeah.
Well done.
Just take that out of that.
Just going to get myself underneath my foot. Yeah, like I say, if we'd only had one of them fish on at the same time, they've obviously come past in a pack, I would have probably brought that fish aboard and tagged it. Because that is just on the limit of what I would tag. 110 to 120 centimetres minimum. Yeah, that was quite a lean male fish. It's bigger than yours, isn't it?
Yeah.
Another lean one.
Yeah. It's similar size. I tell you what. Do you want me to get the? Do you want to tag it?
I don't want to go. Really what camera on it.
It's over 4 foot.
You want to grab that? I am going to bring this tope aboard and I am going to tag it. I'm going to talk to you all about it once we've got it secured, but at this moment in time, yeah, the priority is just making sure that I support all the fish as it comes out of the water and that it doesn't bite one of us. That's a priority.
And there you go, like that. It works so well.
Yeah. What we're going to talk about right now is manage to lift the fish aboard. When they're above a certain size, you have to support them as you're bringing them on board. Put it on the deck. The deck's already wet. You can see we've just put a wet towel over its head and it's just calmed it right down. It's amazing. It's like flicking a switch. As soon as that wet towel goes over their head, it just chills them right out. You can see there, look. Now what I'm going to do really quickly is take the hook out, measure it and tag it. I actually had these tape measures made up for the shark comp that I hold each year. It shows you exactly how to measure them and there's next to no chance of cutting yourself on it. A friend of ours nearly lost his thumb.
Oh, Tom Thumb.
Tom Thumb. 145.
145.
And girth. Check it, does it? It's quite a lean male, this. Females get huge. 50. And the tag number is 425110. There's the dangerous end. There's a tag on each side. That is a cracking male fish. and just off like an absolute bullet. Now the reason why I rolled my sleeves down there for that was because of that. The skin's just like sandpaper. In fact, there's one that I did the last time we were out. Then my sleeve was down and it rubbed, and its scales are just like little tiny minute teeth, like sandpaper. Just the slightest little rub like that's taking my skin off. Yeah, 2 males. Surprising. What I'm going to do now, fill out the card, fill out the no card. These tags, they're valuable because scientists otherwise wouldn't be able to have this type of information. We're going to record the sex, the location, the length, the girth, so you can calculate its weight. If anybody else recatches that shark, they'll be able to track like migration routes and growth rates and species diversity by sex, so all the males in one area, all the females in another, how they interact. All that important information, and it's all angler led. I'll tag information in the description of the video about these, but those are nowhere tags. Anyway, let's get another bait down quick because, like I said, tope are pack fish. They'll hang around in a group. So where there's 1 and 2, there's usually more. A really quick talk through the rigs. Like as I explained before, mine's got a locked in lead, so it slides, so it's almost like a bolt rig. Now, the reason I like using these when it's a lot of tide is sometimes when you're dropping your bait down, if you're not paying attention, your lead can slide up your leader, or your bait can carry on through your lead. Whereas now I know no matter what happens, my bait is going to be no further away than this far from the lead. And we're both using circle hooks. Both of us, both Dave's fish and my fish, both locked it in right in the corner of the mouth, which is exactly what these are designed for. And you're not setting a hook like you would do a J hook, winding down until you're tight and then you're lifting. Now, my fish actually ran towards me. So it felt like a smaller fish and then it felt like it had come off because it ran from down tide all the way up over. Now, I'm going to knock out another couple of baits, get my rods out, and I'll get back to you. There he is. They're terrible for that. They just swim right over all the other lines, open their mouth and just go like ting 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 like all the other lines are.
Tope.
Maybe not.
That's not a tope, mate.
Right. Alright, sorry.
That's your drag there. Let me tee this off as quick as I can. Where is that T-bar?
Oh, stop it.
Is it?
Temporarily.
No. No, it's right. It is.
I'll just grab my rod there to sort of fish up on mine. Our main concern now is that this fish has run so far up tide that it's wrapped itself around the angle.
Right. Tell you what, you carry on with that. I'll carry on with this one.
And it might be a chore depending on what you want to do with the anchor rod.
Maybe it's not a 2 rod deep stay.
No. It's high up in the water.
Is it?
Yep.
Right, you've got one about 15 pounds.
Yeah, just think about it.
Rod out of the way a sec. Got it?
Got it.
Woo!
Don't know what this is.
but that line went underneath the boat up to the anchor buoy, and it got round the rope and around the anchor buoy. So there's a small chance, I say small chance, it's a high chance that we've got damaged braid. When braid is under a lot of strain, when it touches things, it can break quite quickly.
What I'm having to do here is you can't bully it. It could be a really, really big fish. What I'm trying to do right now, I'm sorry there's not an awful lot of talking going on, but I'm trying to concentrate as much as possible, is because the tide is running that way. By holding pressure on this fish, it should plane it up towards the surface. So the angle of the line now, instead of being down, is at like, well, almost at like a 20-degree angle from the boat. 20-degree angle from the horizon, sorry. Peck.
Ah,
Right.
foul looked in a peck.
That leader is chopped to bits and all.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hook.
There we are, cloth over its head and it's calmed down now. That was hooked in the pectoral fin, so it wasn't coming in straight and it was fighting all, but yeah, that was mad. Considering its size, it's the same as the ones we've just had, but it ran. It ran like crazy all the way up past the anchor rope, round the anchor rope, all the way down tide. I mean, you saw how much of a struggle I had with it, but it's still a nice fish. No, I'm not going to tag this one. We'll wait until we get one a bit bigger.
Ready?
There you go. If you look, they've almost got like a translucent nose. All of the little sensory pits that are on its nose is where it senses its prey, like little fish hiding in the rubble and in the sand. And all the little tiny dots, I don't know whether you can see them, ampullae of bacilli, little electromagnetic receptors. Pushing them back like that, not only does it kick-start them onto swimming, gets a burst of oxygenated water over its gills, and then you see there's no problem going back. What a scrap! I'm gonna have to take a layer off. Yeah, what a scrap! I think part of that and all was adrenaline, because I was thinking little porgy.
Yeah.
I was thinking little porgy, just by the way that it kind of ran and then dogged. So yeah, it's one of the things you got to love about fishing as well. That is it. No matter what you think you know, something like that will throw you a curveball.
Okay. Yeah, I was
The way
sure
that it gunned off, the way they gunned off, I was like,
yeah, that's not a Tope. But you live and learn.
so yeah, you landed one on mine and I landed one on yours. So we're drawing.
Oh, I didn't know it was part 3 of Fish Locker v Solent Warrior. Is that what it is then?
Well, we came out and we filmed a video a while back, and I haven't watched it all fully, but everyone was like, oh, you kicked John's ass there, Dev. And I was thinking, I was there on the day and I don't remember it going down quite like that. I was like, there might be one fish in it. You did catch the biggest one of the day.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure who got the most, because I think we had an odd number. And I think it might have been like neck and neck, and then just one pipped it. Bit of friendly competition, you can't knock that off, can you?
Okay.
There we go, better get me bait in the water. Stop yapping.
In this side.
Oh, that was party, yeah.
Cheers.
We've, as the tide's picking up, we've managed to trip the anchor out of the bank that we put it into. So we have to bring all the lines in, go back, pull the anchor up, go back and reshoot it. And try and put out a little bit more rope this time, or shoot it in a little bit shallower water. This is why it's useful if you when you're putting your anchor down, is with your GPS, mark where you put your anchor down, and then when you sit, what I usually do is I put like a rough cursor on it. So if we start drifting away from it, I'll know because we'll start moving from the curve. Yeah, it just happens sometimes your anchor trips out. You can see where it's been dragging, all the inside of the anchor's all bright silver.
Yeah, go on, you're good.
We're at the strongest part of the tide, which isn't surprising. Like we've had a couple of really hard fighting fish, and we're in a strong tide. Yeah, anchors trip out. But hopefully if we can get this one bedded in now, this means we'll be able to fish back to that same spot, pull some more of them tope out for the next 2 or 3 hours. As the tide starts to drop away again.
Slightly on the move again.
Fresh bait, just dropped down. We've had the tiniest little slow spell. Just enough for us to try and get like everything organised, get some fresh baits done. Just dropped another fresh bait down. Yeah. And I just set it back, like just trotted it back to where I was at. I put it down in the holder and just whack. Yeah.
It's funny. I get people asking me, how on earth do you know what you've got on the hook?
Well, it could be one of a couple of things.
Yeah.
The way that it kind of runs. Yeah. If it does 2 or 3 different things, it kind of narrows it down, doesn't it? Like a ray will kind of tipple on the bait and then hang for the bottom. And usually when it fights, it's like a dun, dun, dun. Whereas this, it's shaking its head about. It could be a strappy eel, but it shouldn't. When it picked up to start with, it ran, which isn't the behaviour of it. Just shaking its head around. It's more of like a scrappy pack of tope. Just imagine it going like that. Seeing on the rod tip's just going. It's just shaking its head around. See by this one off. Maybe that little tiny bit extra fresh bait down there has brought some in on the scent. Yeah, they're, This is just a smaller sized pack fish. It'll be about 10 to 15 pounds. Still counts as well.
Well, I don't know. You have to let the tube.
Yeah, it depends.
That one.
Right, considering that whilst I was dealing with that fish on my rod, we've got 2 rods out each. Whilst I was reeling that fish in and unhooking it, my other rod went. Now, I baited it. I made the. It's my rod. It's my rod. I made the rig. I baited it. I casted it. But he's reeled it in. So who do you think the fish belongs to? Because he's bringing a fish in at the back of the boat, I've tried to chuck this bait and weight out to the side so that I can drop it right back. I'm hoping to capitalise on this pack of fish that's moving through.
I say it's a good fish. They've got 3 knots of tide.
It's a lot of tide at the minute. The tags that we're deploying on these fish, the measurements that we're taking, like the length and the girth of them, You can use that to calculate the weight. We've kind of, Dave and I have kind of agreed upon the fact that we're not going to tag any of the tope that are less than 1.20 metre. That equates to like 35-40 pounds. Partly because we've only got a finite number of tags. I mean, it would be valuable to tag everything, but just tagging the bigger ones because I feel they're more likely to do some distance. Just dropped off, but that was on a mackerel flapper. It's just the same as before, just with a slightly heavier lead because we've got a little bit more tide. A wire tippet, I'm not sure what weight this is. I've got it in my box, I'll tell you in a minute. But finishing in an 8/0 Cox and Roll Mutsu circle. I didn't know that we were going to get any mackerel while we're up here, so without wanting to risk coming up without any decent bait, I have some fresh, well, yesterday fresh mackerel from Cornwall. Fished here for about half an hour, giving it a chance. There's nothing doing, so we're going to move somewhere else. Come to a slightly different type of mark here. This is amongst a load of boulders. Let's see what we can't pull out. Just waiting, we've just put the anchor back, just waiting for the boat to finish swinging round so that we can start dropping the bigger baits down. Ah, it's a pout. So I dropped my scratching rig down to try and see if there was any bream down there. And I found myself a little pouting. That explains what it is that we can see on the sounder. You would think that would just be a perfect little tasty morsel for a tope. I think if there's this many of these down here, either the tope haven't found them yet, or the tope don't like this spot.
How far?
Well, yeah, definitely found where the pouting live. Might have to rethink this. As soon as you put a mackerel bait down there for a tope or something like that, they're just going to get absolutely chewed to pieces by pouting. Yeah, this isn't right. We've just decided that we're going to move from this pouting mark. We stuck a couple of pouting flappers down there just to try and find, to see what anything else down there. I said I think there'll be a conger. So no bites, just bringing all the rods in. It was jammed up on the bottom. So I put a glove on and I just felt it out, and all of a sudden it just went dunk, dunk, dunk in my hand. So I freed it up from the rock, and I think we've got a decent conger on. There we go. That's the culprit. Yeah, as soon as we had all them pouting down there.
Yeah.
There's no way there'd be that many pouting if there was all them tope that we've been seeing all day, like in them packs, are just ravenous. There is no way there'd be that much of a head of pouting down there if them tope are around, because they've been out left from scales. And conger love eating pouting, so I figured the conger area. We're going to move somewhere else. Another one to add to the species tally. Ballanras. Moving from one mark to another, saw some feeding birds. So we'll just have like a little bit of a chuck around just to see what was going on. Like I said, just adapting to what we're seeing. Yeah, they're incredibly finicky. I don't know if it's because the sun's so high in the sky or what. But
They're splitting up when we get anywhere near them, aren't they?
Anytime you get within 100 yards of them, like the birds all disperse, and the fish just die off.
There we go.
Let's keep going. I was literally just saying to Dave, I was like, I think you're wasting your time, because he even sacrificed half of his dinner. He had some rice left over from his dinner. He was like, Bream really like fishy rice, and I was thinking, I agree with you, but I think that you're wasting half your dinner. So there he was, patiently throwing his dinner over the side, and went rap 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 rap. He's had a very pretty but very, very spiky Bream. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see the colours, because you know, like I was saying, how the males have got beautiful bright blue. Yeah, they have stunning blue across their face, down their flanks. He's a lovely one. Well done, Dave.
Go on, chuck it back.
Yeah, we've come down to slack water. It's just really slow. There was a couple of other boats that were working around us, and they've all up anchored and foxtrot Oscared.
We're not giving up that easily.
I think what we might do is we might give it another 15 minutes or so, bring all the rods in, because we've got a fair steam back, and if we find any patches of working birds on the way back, we'll have a go for some bass. As I was saying earlier, when we first come out, it was a bit sloppy because it was wind over tide, and then when the tide changed, we've got all these nice conditions. As soon as the conditions turn back, instead of wind and tide together to wind against tide, it's going to get sloppier again. So yeah, we wanted to fish the best part, which was wind and tide together, which was a 6-hour period. We've now fished that, so it's going to start getting worse. Also to contend with, we have started picking up these. Another reason to go. They're mounting up now. There's a fine line between perseverance and like boneheaded stubbornness. We're on that line. This is our sign to go. We'll start tidying up and we'll bring all the rods in. Start making our way back.
Not the one.
Almost back alongside. I've got a decent drive home. I hope you enjoyed joining us. I hope you found it interesting. All the very best. See you later. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the Fish Locker YouTube channel, where we have hundreds of videos from our adventures just like this one. We upload new videos every Sunday evening, so don't forget to click subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Let's go!